it's Jessie. Welcome back to my channel, welcome back to another video, and welcome back to my first book unhaul of 2025. So I thought, kind of in the spirit of New Year's, although it is like mid-February now, in the spirit of a new year, I wanted to kind of clear out my shelves a little bit and get rid of some books that I just didn't really love. I think I did one of these kind of midway through last year, and I have about 15 books here that I'm also going to be getting rid of today. Normally I do like take you through the process of unhauling, but at the moment my shelves are kind of like all over my room because I'm trying to maximize space. So I've got like 3 floating shelves in this corner, my bookshelves and 2 floating shelves in this corner, bookshelf here, and a TBR cart just down there. So it's not the most cohesive for like filming and stuff, so I hope you don't mind that I've done it this way. But I am going to be getting rid of all these books. Don't worry, they are going to loving homes, they're going to friends or the charity shop, so none of these are getting thrown away or anything like that, so do not worry. But I think without further ado, let's just get straight into it, and I'll kind of explain why I'm getting rid of each one as we go. So this is in no particular order, but first things first, we do have One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. This one I think I bought new from Waterstones, and this was one of the first books that I bought when I got back into reading, and it is kind of the sprayed edge version. But my issue with this series is just that it is quite forgettable. I do find that a lot of kind of YA thrillers blend together for me, and I read the second and the third. I think I listened to both of them, and I just don't have any memory of them. Like, they very much blend together for me. I did also watch the TV show for this, and I did kind of enjoy it, but yeah, it's just not a very memorable one, and not one that I feel the need to keep. I feel like a lot of my YA, I do kind of feel like I could probably get rid of. It's only really like Shatter Me, Holly Jackson that I kind of like feel a strong desire to keep, so this one is the first one that I will be giving away. Then this one, I think in my first unhaul I talked about getting rid of this one and I changed my mind, but I'm now going to be getting rid of The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. I just don't see myself rereading this at any point ever, really. I think I gave it like a 3 or a 4. I didn't dislike it when I read it. I actually was kind of like reasonably pleasantly surprised by it. But again, this is another one that I read kind of back in like 2022 when I was first getting back into reading, so like I don't really feel a need to keep this on my shelves. I don't think that it's like emblematic of my reading taste, especially in terms of romances, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend it to anyone, so like for that reason, like why am I keeping it? Do you know what I mean? So then now I guess we've got a couple of romances back to back. We have All I Want for Christmas by Maggie Knox, so maybe not the best time of year to be getting rid of this one, but this is a Christmas romance. This is just like a kind of workplace rivals to lovers romance, but this one I believe they are both kind of like singers. But what annoyed me about this was kind of the conflict. I think the characters were really quite annoying, and they kind of like ran away from all their problems like immediately when they had them, which I just didn't really enjoy in a romance. I really kind of like the cover and the vibes of this, but like firstly I don't really feel a need to keep a lot of my festive romances in the first place, just because they aren't really reread vibes, and I would only ever read them at a certain time of year. I feel like every year there's so many that come out, so I don't need to be rereading old ones. And yeah, this was just pretty underwhelming. I think I gave it like a 2.5, so definitely have no desire to keep this one. Then we have one that is actually pretty popular, but I just really didn't enjoy it. I found the kind of characters annoying again, and that is The Love Wager by Lynn Painter. I think I gave this like a 2 maybe. Yeah, it just really wasn't my cup of tea. I think I found the main female character really annoying. This is meant to be like friends to lovers, but it just feels really forced, and I didn't really enjoy it at all. So this was really underwhelming for me because I did like her, what was it I read from her, Best in the Movies, and I do want to read other books by her, but yeah, this one was just a bit underwhelming. I don't think maybe that I like her kind of adult romances, and I should stick to the young adult ones. Then we have, this is a bit of a controversial one, but I did not enjoy Normal People the book. I do want to watch the TV show and I think I might really enjoy it, but for some reason I just really didn't vibe with the book. I definitely felt very connected to the character of Connell. I think I understood his behaviour, stuff like that, but I think I felt always at quite a distance to Marianne, who is the female lead in this, which I don't think a lot of people feel because you're in their heads, but like I felt like a lot of times I just really didn't understand her kind of behaviours and stuff like that, and yeah, I just always kind of felt at a distance to her. I didn't feel connected to her, not in like a personal way, but just kind of in like a character way, I guess. I'm also noticing that like half my hair is wavy and half of it is straight, so like please do ignore that. But yeah, this just wasn't really for me. I would definitely be interested to try other Sally Rooney's. I do own Beautiful People, Where Are You, and I am interested in Intermezzo, but yeah, this one just didn't hit for me, unfortunately. But I think maybe as a TV show it might work slightly slightly better for me personally. So next up we have a non-fiction. This is the only non-fiction on the list, so I'll be quick because it's a bit of a random one. But this is Prisoners of Geography by Tim Marshall. It's basically about kind of like geopolitics, but it came out in like 2015, 16 or something like that, so it is a little bit outdated. I listened to it, I feel no need to kind of reread it just because it is kind of outdated, and he's come out with more recent books since, so yeah, I just don't feel the need to have this. I also felt like it was a little bit kind of basic. I feel like it was very much kind of intended for someone with like a limited understanding, because I kind of do a degree in this. It was all stuff I kind of already knew, so we'll brush over that one, but I will be getting rid of that as well. Then we have 2 Christina Lauren books. So first things first, this is another controversial one, but this is Love and Other Words. I really did not like this. I think for the first 3 quarters I was really loving it, but the last quarter just did not hit for me, and it kind of also changed the way I viewed the rest of the book as well. I just really didn't enjoy it. I read this in like a blindly picking my TBR video, and I went on a full spoiler rant, which I will link like in the cards if you want to watch me kind of like go into detail about why I didn't like this. But this is a kind of like second chance romance, childhood friends to lovers to strangers to lovers again, and that is a trope that I really do enjoy usually, but I always think it hinges on the reason why they became, you know, strangers and why they stopped talking. And this one I just didn't like the reason. It's not super explicit which side of a coin the authors are kind of going for, and I think either interpretation that you take it, I'm trying to be vague for spoilers, but either interpretation it's handled really poorly. So yeah, I just didn't enjoy this at all, and yeah, not a fan. And I honestly don't understand why it's got the amount of hype it has, because this is like people's favourite romance of all time, but I just did not get it, unfortunately, so I'm hauling that one. And then since I got rid of that one, it kind of gave me the go ahead to get rid of another Christina Lauren book, because I kind of had them all in a little collection, but since I'm getting one I don't have to keep the rest of them. And this one wasn't necessarily a bad one, I just didn't like enjoy it all too much. This is Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating. I felt similarly with this to The Love Wager, where I just didn't really like the couple together. It felt a bit forced, the reason why they were friends and not dating. This one, it was just fine, and it was definitely an easy read. It was like a quick read, and it's pretty short just kind of in general, but I think I gave it maybe like a 3, so I don't feel a desire to keep it. And I really enjoyed a lot of Christina Lauren's other books, so it's definitely not a slight against them, but yeah, don't feel the need to keep all of them when I didn't really love this one. It's just taking up space on my shelves. Then we have another young adult one that I just don't feel the need to keep really, and that is All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. I listened to this one because I'd already watched the movie, and it was fine. It was enjoyable. As a YA book, I think maybe it was more so like a product of its time. I think if I read it when it came out, I would have enjoyed it more, but this is not the style of YA books that I kind of really enjoyed reading, so I don't feel a desire to keep it. I think I gave it like a 3.5. Like, it's a decently interesting story, but it's pretty much just kind of like a slight different take on The Fault in Our Stars, and I don't feel a desire to reread it or even keep it. I don't think it's indicative of my book taste, so that one is going to go. Then we had a thriller that I just really didn't enjoy, and that is Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. She is a very popular thriller author, and I have read her other books and really enjoyed them, but this one just did not hit for me. I was reasonably interested like kind of in the first half, but I felt like this is one of the only thriller books where I found the twists really predictable. Almost all of them, besides there's like a last page twist which I just thought was ridiculous and I didn't like. I felt like it was just there for kind of shock value and was just stupid when you actually start to think about things. So I really didn't enjoy this one as a thriller. I know a lot of people really enjoy this one. It's like a smart house and the nanny goes to like start looking after the kids, and like one of them is being a bit creepy, a bit weird, and like she's trying to like figure out what's going on. She kind of feels quite uncomfortable, stuff like that. So it was okay, but like I really didn't think it was kind of what it was hyped up to be, and also what I'd expected following on from reading her previous books. So this one's a disappointment and it doesn't need to be on my shelves anymore. So next up we have another thriller. This one isn't necessarily a disappointing one, it's just one that I don't feel any type of weight about, and that is The Dare by Leslie Cara. I think I gave this like a 3.5, maybe 3.75. This was like a fine thriller. I did enjoy it. It was more so like kind of a classic, not domestic thriller because it wasn't like husband and wife, but it kind of felt along those lines. It didn't really do anything particularly unique. This one is basically about a girl who, I guess it is domestic thriller. This is about a girl who has epilepsy, and one day she's by the train tracks with her friend. She has an epileptic fit, and then when she comes to, her friend's been hit by a train and she's kind of trying to figure out whether she had something to do with it, and doesn't remember. And there is a decent twist in here, but I just think that I don't feel a desire to keep it. I didn't really enjoy it like crazy amounts, and plus this edition, like, it's got quite a cracked spine. I think I got it secondhand, so I don't feel a desire to like have it taking up valuable space, especially at my mystery thriller shelf. Just wasn't really doing anything special, and therefore I don't feel a need to keep it. Then I've got 2 books in a series. This is Alice and the Red Queen by Christina Henry. I didn't really love these. So these are like Alice in Wonderland retellings, and they're meant to be kind of dark. They're set kind of in, I guess, medieval times, and it is quite dark, but like what annoys me about both of these, and there's a third in the series, but I believe it's like short stories, so I don't think you really need to read it, and I don't really care. What happened in both of these is whenever Alice or Hatter, her like friend, I guess, or maybe there was a romance there, I'm not even sure, but whenever they got into any kind of trouble, they just kind of like were able to resolve it immediately, and they overcame all these problems immediately, and they didn't really have any trouble whatsoever. Whenever they like face a problem, it'll be done in like 2 pages, even like the big bad that we kind of been building up to the whole book. And they didn't necessarily feel super connected together, so I didn't like really feel the need to like have them as a series. And yeah, these were just pretty underwhelming. They were both like 3 stars for me, and I didn't really enjoy them. I've yet to kind of enjoy a Christina Henry. I think there's got to be a book there that I like, because I think I would like her stuff, but this and like The House That Horror Built I just really didn't enjoy. So yeah, these are being unhauled, and I don't feel any desire to keep them really. They were not my cup of tea. Then next up we have The Vanishing Half by Brit Bennett. This copy's been a little bit beaten up. This is like objectively a good book. It's one, I think, was shortlisted for the Women's Prize, and it's basically about 2 twins who are white passing, and one of them decides to go about their life kind of passing as white, and the other one as a black woman. And this is basically kind of following how their lives differ, and I feel like my issue with this one is that it was kind of set up to be something other than it was. So we're kind of, by the blur, talking about like what will happen when their stories intersect and stuff like that, and I think like the answer to that question is not really anything, to be honest. I feel like we were building up to kind of like a big event, and nothing really came of it. So unfortunately I just didn't really enjoy it. I found it a little bit underwhelming, and by no means is this like a bad book. I know it's saying a lot, and a lot of people really love it, but I just don't think this is my preferred genre slash style of book. I just think for me it doesn't really hit, and therefore I don't love it as much as I would like to. But yeah, this was like a 3, maybe like 3.5, like objectively good, but like not my personal cup of tea. And then finally we have another thriller, and I'm going to be getting rid of Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. I thought this was okay. This one's got like kind of a very quite a bold twist, not necessarily a unique one, but this is basically an And Then There Were None retelling, which was reasonably interesting. I gave this one a 3. I think after kind of finishing the book I sat there and I was like, okay, cool. Like I didn't necessarily feel either way about it. I was like, interesting, and then like never really thought about it again. So yeah, this is not my favourite Alice Feeney. I've only really enjoyed one of her books, which was Rock Paper Scissors. I've been pretty disappointed by the rest of them. It's probably my second favourite though, given that I didn't really like at all, like I really didn't like some of her others. So yeah, this one just wasn't a very good thriller for me, and I mean it's taking up valuable hardback space on my thriller shelves, and like I don't have a lot of space because I love thrillers. It's one of my favourite genres, and I just like them to be a little bit more gripping or unique or twisty. That's kind of what I want. So this didn't hit the mark really on either of them. I don't really care for the characters, and yeah, I'm happy to kind of let this one go. So those are the 15 books that I'm going to be getting rid of. Let me know any of these that you like vehemently disagree with. I would love to know. But yeah, these were just not my cup of tea, and I'm sure my friends and stuff, oh god, I've knocked them all over. I'm sure my friends and anyone else that reads them will enjoy them. I'm sure you can find 5-star reviews of these. Don't take my word as Bible, but like I wouldn't necessarily recommend them. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this little unhaul video. I thought it'd be fun to just kind of share what I'm clearing out of my shelves to make space for more and better books. So yeah, if you guys like this video, don't forget to give it a like down below, hit subscribe and turn that bell to join a little club, and make sure you turn on all notifications, then you'll be notified every single time I post a new video. And if you want to watch one of my other videos, there'll be 2 on the screen now to pick from, as well as a linked up in the cards from earlier. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.